What's that sound? It's for amusement only, the EM and Bingo Pinball Podcast.
Welcome back to For Amusement Only. This is Nick Baldridge. Tonight I wanted to talk about 1961's Bally Can Can. Can Can is a magic screen bingo pinball machine. And a bingo pinball machine is what they call a multi-coin pinball machine. This means that you typically want to play more than a single coin in order to get the most out of the machine. These machines paid off, but not in cash, as earlier machines did. These machines paid off in replays. But not just a single knock, like many flipper pinball machines, or even 5 knocks, or 10 knocks like many of the older wood rail machines. No, these machines paid off hundreds of knocks for a skilled player. So, when you step up to the game and you put in a nickel, it'll lift your first ball to the playfield, to the shooter lane. At this point you have to shoot, and through the use of your own skill, nudging, pulling, shaking, you have to convince the balls to land in the holes that you want on the playfield, or pass by the ones that you don't. If you manage to get 3, 4, or 5 in a row as represented by the bingo card on the Backglass, then you'll win the indicated number of replays. The machine indicates these replays on the Backglass, and Can Can in particular has something called triple deck scoring. This means that there are 3 different sets of advancing odds, each of which represents one colored line on the Backglass. You have red, green, and yellow. Each color will indicate a set of odds. One number for 3 in a row, one number for 4 in a row, and one number for 5 in a row. These replay payouts go from 4 for the default game all the way up to 600 for 5 in a line. Can Can, though, is a magic screen game, and therefore you're not just limited by the default bingo card. If you earn the magic screen feature by putting in, again, more coins, then after you shoot your first ball, you're able to move an actual sliding screen on the Backglass, which will reveal different colored sections in odd shapes instead of vertical, horizontal, or diagonal lines, as is typical of a bingo card. The advantage of these sections is that the balls do not have to land in adjacent holes. So, for example, if I wanted to get a 3 in a row on Can Can, I would have to get, say, the number 8, the number 14, and the number 3 as represented by the bottommost row of the bingo card. However, with the magic screen, I can move a red section that's shaped like a U, and say I have 8 and 14 beside each other, and the number 6. If my magic screen is lit to the 5th position, or the letter E, then it will allow me to move the screen into that position and I'll be able to score in the red, even though those numbers are not adjacent to each other on the Backglass. Now, the magic screen sections are made up of several different colors. Of course, you have red, yellow, and green, but you also have blue. Now, the blue section in this game will score either 300 or 600 replays. It's only 3 numbers wide, and it's in the shape of an upside down reversed L. Or if you took an L, I guess, and then rotated it counterclockwise. That's kind of what it looks like. But only 3 numbers wide. So, by default, you have to get all 3 of those numbers lit in order to win your 300 or 600 replays. But occasionally, the machine will give you an advantage where you only have to get 2 lit in order to win 600 replays. That's quite a deal if you have that lit. This game also has what's called an extended time tree. By default, if you earn the magic screen feature, the game will time out the screen from moving before you shoot your 4th ball. If you have extended time, then it will time out either before you shoot your 5th ball or after you shoot your 5th ball. Of course, the most desirable is after 5th, and the reason why is that you can collect a winner in more than one color. You could collect in all 3 colors. And that's because you can reposition the screen, allowing your regular bingo winner, say if it was vertical, to move between all 3 of the colors. Now, the game will randomly award this extended time tree. However, it can also randomly award rollover lights. These rollovers are down at the bottom third of the playfield on the left and right side. On the left side you have a yellow rollover which, when lit and hit, will automatically advance your time tree to before 5th. The red rollover on the right hand side, if lit and hit, will automatically advance to after 5th. This game also has an orange section, but the orange section is not grouped with the red, yellow, green, and blue sections on the right-hand side of the screen. Instead, it is on the left-hand side of the screen. You can only view this if you light OK on the Backglass. And this is a random award with the feature. Now, the machine will award you OK by itself, or in concert with the magic screen, or you could just have the magic screen, or you could have none. And it is essentially random what you will earn. And the randomness involved has to do with a unit called the reflex, as well as units called the mixers and the spotting disc. Now, just the other night, I finally figured out exactly how the mixers work after rereading Phil Hooper's awesome guides online at bingo.cdyn.com for the 1,000,000th time. It finally clicked for me, and now I understand exactly what they do at each point in their rotation, which was a bit of a mystery to me before, but now I get it. So, if this OK section is shown, then you can start what's called a red letter game. This OK or orange section, you only have to put 2 balls into it, and then you hold down the R button on the footrail, which stands for Register Replays, and after a brief search, still holding it down, you'll hear the machine clicking and clacking, and then all of a sudden, boom, the shutter will open and the balls will drop, and then the odds will start ticking up like crazy, and the features will start ticking up like crazy. And then you have a brand new game. You have no replays to show for it. However, this new game has guaranteed odds and features. What it gives you is based on the letter lit in the name, Can Can. There are 6 different positions, each of which is tied to the advancement of the green odds. So if you're playing a game with a magic screen that has the OK feature, it's to your great benefit to attempt to get your green odds up as high as possible and then play your featured button to try to get the OK lit. That orange section, if you manage to sink 3 balls into it and the feature is lit, will score as green. This means that it will give you the green odds for 3, 4, or 5. Can Can also has the extra ball feature, which allows you to pay money after you've shot your 5 balls to try to earn 1, 2, or 3 additional balls. This is a pretty handy feature if you've got your odds way up and you really want to make a good winner. However, the downside of this feature is that it costs much more money to get an extra ball if your odds are way up than if they are way down. So there's always a trade-off between doing it. Of course, sometimes it'll give it to you right away. And this is all due to the randomizing elements that I talked about earlier. Now, the last feature of this game is kind of unique to this game, and I believe one other game. This game has the super sections. You've heard about those before on other episodes about Magic Screen games. These are the yellow and black striped sections and the red and white striped sections. And if you have the feature lit, if you land only 2 balls in that section, it'll score as if you had 3. 3 scores as 4, and 4 scores as 5. But in this game, there's a special white button on the front of the game that, if pressed, will allow you to play for the super sections, and in this game's case, you can have both lit at the same time. That's pretty handy. Most of the other Magic Screen games do not allow you to have both super sections lit. So for this reason, Can Can is fairly desirable from a player's perspective. This game also has pick-a-play. For those of you eagle-eared listeners, you heard me mention the white button. Well, the white button is used to play for special features of that particular machine. But this game also has the typical red, green, blue, and yellow buttons of many of the other pick-a-play machines. Red plays for both features and odds advances. Green plays for features only, and blue plays for odds only. Yellow, of course, plays for extra ball, as it does on almost every other extra ball game. So let's talk about artwork. Can Can, as you might imagine, features Can Can dancers. You have high-kicking women on the Backglass, with a couple of other dancers sitting on the sidelines. And there are some amazing curtains on this one. They remind me very much of Williams' Yukon, in that the hall has depth, and you got some chandelier action going on, and even more curtains further back. The cabinet stencil is a neat gray and blue striped pattern with ribbon threaded all through it, and multiple Can Can dancers in various positions along the sides, the head, and even the front of the game. Beautiful. The Playfield has more blues, and the Can Can dancers are lined up on either side. Great scroll work in the triangles between the numbers, and very similar artwork on the numbers to Light-A-Line. Well, that's all for tonight. Thank you very much for joining me. My name again is Nick Baldridge. You can reach me at foramusementonlypodcast@gmail.com, or you can call me on the Bingos line. That's 724-BINGOS1, 724-246-4671. You can listen to us on iTunes, Stitcher, Pocket Casts, via RSS, on Facebook, on Twitter at Bingo Podcast. You can follow me on Instagram, also at Bingo Podcast, or you can listen to us on our website, which is foramusementonly.libsyn.com. Thank you very much for listening, and I'll talk to you next time.